Some people teach verse by verse. They say verse by verse is the way to teach. Other people, they teach topical. They teach topics, and they say, man, that's the way to go. Well, today we've got a beautiful marriage of both. In this passage, we've got a beautiful marriage of both. We're going to be looking at 10 myths of religion and the truth that sets you free. And we're going to be simultaneously journeying through a very powerful passage of Scripture, Colossians chapter 2, one of my favorites of all time for sure. We begin with myth number 1. You need tradition. Now, Paul warns about this. He says, see to it that no one takes you captive through philosophy and empty deception according to the tradition of men, according to the elementary principles of the world, rather than according to Christ. And you see the competition. There's two ideas here. Are you going to be a sucker for tradition, or are you going to be obsessed with Jesus Christ? Is it tradition or is it Jesus that has captured your attention? Let me explain. People say, oh, well, if it's tradition, it's important. If it's tradition, we got to do it. If it's tradition, we've always done it this way. My family, we grew up in this denomination. My family, we grew up in this culture. My family, we grew up in this way of doing church. My family, we grew up in this way of living, so it's got to be this way. And then the religious scholars get a hold of that notion and they say it's got to be like the early church fathers. The early church fathers, they had it right. They did it right. We got to return to what they did. And we're sort of looking through history at 200, 300, 400 AD to find out what to do when it comes to church and our faith in Jesus Christ. Let me assure you, some of those church fathers were completely clueless. And they agreed with others, and sometimes they vehemently disagreed with many others. And so there was confusion among the church fathers. So when we fall at the feet of tradition and say, I'll do what they did, we're missing the boat. They were getting it wrong very early. I've highlighted over the years, we humans are really good at getting it wrong and getting it wrong early. Israel got it wrong, smelting the golden calf. The Corinthians got it wrong with crazy business going on during the Lord's Supper, which we shared in today. People were getting it wrong really, really early. And how old something is not a good indication of how truthful something is. Just because it's old doesn't make it right. And so it's not how old something is, it's how biblical something is that really matters. Paul is saying this to them. He's saying, you, Colossians, may have done things a certain way, but it's not about a way, it's about the way, and his name is Jesus. It's not about a bunch of principles of tradition, it's about a person and what he's done on that cross.